Welcome again to Computer Programming in C++. Today we're going to look at creating a class header file. What we're going to do here is take this program that we've created in the past. It creates a class of type square. And here's the class declaration. There are member functions. And then down in the main, we actually use the square and access it. Now what would be nice is if when we open up our program and look at it right away, what we see near the top is the main program. And we can actually take all of this and store it in separate files. You could do all of this in one file, or as is commonly done, we do the class declaration and the function prototypes in one file, the header file, and then the function details go in yet another file. So we're splitting this up into 3 locations. So I'll show you how we can do this. Now, I am relatively new to this. I'm still more procedural programmer at heart than object-oriented programmer. That's my confession. But I will give this a great shot here. So what I'm going to do is create a header file. Let's see, file new, header file. Now I want the name of this header file to match the match the object name type. In this header file, here, before I save, I'm going to actually copy in this entire class declaration. In fact, I can cut it out of there and paste in here, and this will all be part of the header file. And I'm going to save this as, before I go too far, square .h. See, it's a header file rather than a regular C++ file. A couple of things I'm going to need here. I'm going to actually use some processor directives in here other than pound include. There are other ones out there. Pound if and def actually stands for if not defined. And we're going to check and see and put this in all caps, square underscore h. And then pound define, square underscore h. Now, what I'm looking at here is we want to first check and make sure square has not previously been defined. We don't have multiple option or objects of the same type that are actually different types of objects, or what's more likely to happen, that this header file gets included in more than one place. We don't need to go through that twice. So we check and see if it's not defined, let's define it. And then everything that follows after here is the definition up until this. Pound end if. It ends this if up here. So this is all grouped together. It's like parentheses. Here's the beginning opening parenthesis, there's the end parenthesis. And that is my header file. Let me save that again. Now we're going to also have a partner with it that goes with. It's going to be a .cpp file. So let's do a new one of those. So it is still a source code file. And I'm going to give it the same name, which would be square, in this case, .cpp. The name matches the name of the. Now I'm going to create this file. First of all, we want, whenever this is activated, for us to, wrong thing there, pound include the square file, which was square.h. That has the prototypes for all the functions that we're about to include here. We'll also get IO stream, in our namespace in order here. Now what I'm going to do is put in all these functions that we had the prototypes for before. Let's cut those out of there and put them in this file. Save it. This is square. It's not .h, it's .cpp. Good. All right. So now we've split our program into three pieces. And delete here. We have our main program. We have our header file. There it is. Square.h. And then we have the functions itself that go with the header file. The functions within that scope. We need to tell our main program to include the header file. So there's a pound include in quotes here, square.h. The difference between the quotes and the bracket is really where the compiler goes and looks for this header file. Oops, .h. Inside the pointy brackets, that's built into the system memory. Here we look into the same place that we're saving our example. Okay, so we have this. Let's try building. Okay, good. I was expecting some errors. One of the problems here now is that we have things split up into different areas. The compiler doesn't recognize that they all go together. So I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to create a project. Square. Where do I want it saved? I want it in the desktop. Where do I want it to save stuff that it comes up with? In the desktop. All right, so now I have a project. Let's add items to the project. Insert files. Okay, this is the program I'm running. And then the square file. Let's open those. And let's build. Oops, I just did it off screen there. And it builds successfully. It now links those files together, groups them together. So now I can run my program. There, my amazing garden has area 2500. So in summary there, we were able to split the program up into pieces. We had it all in one, but now we put the main class declaration in its own header file, and that header file goes with a CPP file that then contains all the functions. By the way, that can all be done in a header file if your class is small enough. Then we do a pound include square.h, put it in quotes, just saying look in the same directory as this program. And what this essentially does is it inserts all that text right at the beginning of this program. It does essentially the same thing as having that all up here at the top. It's nicer to look at the main program and actually just be able to run these functions without having to see all the details on the top there. Also, this will make it easier if we need to use the square object in other programs. And is another bonus to breaking your program into pieces like this. When the programs get big, when you have multiple objects, you can work on those separately and not have everything staring at you in the face. It makes your program a little more manageable by breaking it into bite-sized chunks.